Hello and welcome to Quarterlight, your car brochure channel. In today's episode, for your Saturday special, the special edition Vauxhall Vectra Supertouring 200. Hello and welcome back to Quarterlight, your car brochure channel. Here on YouTube we look at car brochures from around the world for the 60s, 70s, 80s and 90s, sometimes beyond that as well. But if you're into cars and into car brochures, please consider giving us a like. We're only a very small channel that's trying to grow. Today is Saturday. Happy weekend. And of course your Saturday special, where we've started to look at special editions on Saturday. And here we have today's special edition, the Vauxhall Vectra Supertouring 200. Now, what can we say about the Vectra? I suppose if we looked at people like Jeremy Clarkson, he would say that they're extremely boring. So boring, in fact, apparently he refused to drive one. But we know Clarkson is a bit of a childish character on Top Gear, really, wasn't he? And obviously over dramatic. I kind of think, I know this is a strange comparison, but I kind of associate with the Vectra with the Marina. They were both really put down on Top Gear, but really they were both just average cars. In the case of the Vectra, I'm sure if you bought it as, or you had it as your fleet vehicle or your repmobile, as it were, it was perfectly okay for going up and down the motorway. Although I remember the key points were the mirrors. Remember the mirrors, the streamlined mirrors? I think Top Gear used to go on about the most exciting thing was it had a pen holder. But let's ignore all that, because like I say, it was just an average motorway cruiser really, and even the base models I'm sure was perfectly okay doing that. This is completely different, and I would say this is probably the rarest of all the Vectras. So let's take a look at that now. So here it is, today's brochure, special edition Vauxhall Vectra Supertouring 200. Now this isn't to be confused with the Vauxhall Vectra Supertouring, which was actually another special edition based on the SR. And the Vauxhall Vectra Supertouring, there was around about 1,000 made of those, and I would say, even though we all remember them in white, there was around about 500 in white. And there was also you could also order reds and blacks actually, which made up the other 500. This is much rarer, the Supertouring 200. Only, wait for it, 38 of these ones made. Now they were also similar. Most of them were going to be white, but you could get blacks and reds. I read somewhere there was around about 8 blacks. I don't know how many reds. If anyone knows that, please jot that in the comments. So a very rare special edition, and it's kind of like one of those cars, who would have thought a 4-door white Vauxhall Vectra could be desirable? Because like I say, it was an okay car, but I think this is actually a desirable version of the Vectra. So we'll zoom in on the images and then we'll open the brochure up and see what this is all about. So we can see the styling from the back, these nice sort of white alloy wheels, which I particularly like, bit of a smoke light at the back, and you can see the MSD badge at the back there, and we'll talk about that in a moment. And also you can see it's a 2.5 litre V6, or you may be able to see, let me zoom in a bit further. It's hard to see, but it's 2.5 V6 engine, as you can see there. Now the normal Vauxhall Vectra Supertouring, there was 2 choices. You get a 2 litre 16 valve 136 bhp or a 2.5 litre V6 with 170 bhp. Now this was developed by MSD in Milton Keynes, so this was closest to 200 bhp, which I presume what the 200 it's referring to. Unusual exhausts, aren't they? Usual shaped exhausts, but particularly nice in white, I think. Like I say, you could actually special order a red or a black one, and like I say, I don't know how rare they are, but like I say, 38 total, there can't be many, and they would be extremely rare ones. I think someone mentioned maybe 8 blacks. I don't know if that's true or not. And they came with this little, kind of like a little plaque, Super Touring 200 by MSD, Motorsport Developments. Like I said, that's in Milton Keynes. This one's showing it as 0001. Apparently there was 38 only. And apparently there was no 13. The number 13 just was called number 50. Why that is the case, I don't know. Apparently there was also a 0000, which was a very rare pre-production one. I've also read somewhere that the first 10 actually had lower suspension, and it was deemed that it was too low suspension, so they increased the height slightly. Don't know how true that is. I'm not pretending to be any sort of expert on this particular model. I'm not really an expert on Vauxhalls in particular, so if you want to add further information on that, certainly jot that in the comments. That's always very interesting to read. But no doubt, like I say, the most desirable of the Vectras, and I'm sure if you own one, you're very lucky to do so. And as we open the brochure, we can say all little details like this. There's a bit of a GSI maybe from front bumper there, maybe. And a few little features we'll have a look at, but we'll certainly zoom in. But basically these cars were all to celebrate this. Vauxhall's success in the British Touring Car Championship, following on from the Cavalier, which also obviously had some success as well. And the caption here, if you want a truly race-bred saloon on your driveway, this is the thing to have. And that's from Autocar. So I think if you was open and minded enough to dismiss the nonsense that comes out of Clarkson's mouth, this was quite the vehicle. And here we get another little zoom in on the main picture here, and even on the standard Vectras, this was kind of like the key styling, and it did get criticised for that, purely because that was said to be the most exciting thing about the base models. Here we've got other little fancy things, though. We've got a nice little wing on the back, and sort of these extra sill parts on there. So I don't think it was a bad looking car. Obviously you might disagree and tell me these were terrible, and that's okay. I like reading both sides of the argument. A little bit of a zoom in at those Speedline white alloy wheels. So these are the essential specifications, as it calls it. So a 2.5 24 valve Ecotec V6, max power 195 PS, maximum torque 250 Newton meters, 0 to 60 miles per hour in 7.6 seconds, 0 to 100 in 20 seconds, 60 to 0 in 2.7 seconds, maximum speed 146 miles per hour, engine tuning by Swindon Racing Engines, suspension Coney Road Race, a differential AP SureTrack limited slip, final drive lowered ratio for 45-1, and brakes AP Road Race front discs. So they went all the way out there to try and give it that little bit of a British Touring Car Championship feel, I guess. Okay, so the text is only pretty small, but let's read some of it out. Hot from the racetrack straight to your driveway, that's the stunning new Vectra Supertouring 200 from Vauxhall. One of the most powerful machines ever to wear the Vauxhall badge. It goes on to tell us that this is the road-going version of the car featured in the Vectra SRI V6 Challenge, Vauxhall's exciting new single-make motorsport series. It tells us it's got a full body kit with unique alloy wheels, set off gleaming glacier white paintwork. Other colours available at special order. Vectra Supertouring 200 is a spiritual cousin to the even more powerful BTCC model, currently being put through its sporting paces by drivers Cleland and Warwick in the Auto Trader RAC Touring Car Championship. A look on the inside tells us not overly excited on the inside, you know. think Vauxhall Vectra. Lots of black plastic. It goes on to tell us, powered by a more muscular version of Vauxhall's 2.5 litre quad-cam V6, delivering a mighty 195 PS and driving through a 5-speed gearbox with lowered final drive. Supertouring 200 promises searing acceleration, 0 to 60 in just 7.6 seconds, with 100 mph coming up from rest to a no less impressive 20 seconds. And with full traction control and anti-lock brakes, backed by a specially uprated suspension tuned by Motorsport Developments, the same team that prepares the Vectra SRI V6 Challenge cars for competition. It is, quite simply, the hottest production Vectra yet. The Vectra Supertouring 200 will be built in strictly limited numbers, guaranteed total exclusivity. Have a look at the seats. Yep, they are Recaro seats. I don't know if you can really see that too clearly. There we go. Just about make out the Recaro badge on there. I think the Supertouring 200 got the Recaro seats, but I don't think the normal Supertouring got those seats. And then the back page specifications, which we'll have a look at now. Okay, some of the specifications starting with safety. I'm not going to read through all this, but if you want to pause the screen now, you can read through all that if you want. Same with the interior. And, you know, it was still a pretty practical car, you know, your 60-40 split rear seats, etc. So, kind of like the best of both worlds. And the exterior. Like I said, pause it if you want to read it all. That's kind of interesting though, isn't it? There's a Motorsport decal pack, optional extra cost, to make it look a bit more like the sort of super touring cars. And there is the rest of the equipment on the exterior. Again, if you want to read it all, you can pause that screen. There is the specifications for that 2498cc V6 petrol engine. Performance figures. Insurance group showing it's a 17E, which I'm presuming this time it went to 20, so I'm actually surprised it's not higher than that actually. Fuel capacity, body, load capacities, and then the colours and trim, so telling us it's available in glacier white, or for special order, flame red solid or diamond black 2-coat metallic, and obviously they're going to be the rare colours. Interior trim is black, Artista cloth, and Motorsport decal pack is available at extra cost. For exterior colour illustrations, please refer to the Vauxhall car colour brochures. A few nice little images of some of those extras, and again on that bottom bottom right hand picture, you can see that little plaque that they all got. So if your plaque says it's number 500, you know it's not a 200 model. They only went to much lower numbers than that, and obviously no number 13 either. And the date of this brochure, 1997, and kind of like the spot where the dealer stamp would be, but not in this case. And just a quick little look at that Vauxhall badge for the time. So there we go, there is our Saturday special episode for the Vauxhall Vectra Supertouring 200, a very rare car indeed, and certainly the rarest of the Vectras, I would say. If you remember these cars, if you own these cars, if you want to add any more information, please do just in the comments. Always love reading all of that, and I certainly read everyone. But that's it for today's episode. Please do like and subscribe, that does help us greatly. More special editions every Saturday, as well as more car brochures during the week. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend. Take care and goodbye.